I've reviewed quite a bit of indie games in 2020, and I'm glad I did, as this has helped me better create a direction for this channel. That doesn't mean the Lab Video Game TV will become an all indie game channel, but it did help me prioritize. As an indie filmmaker, as a matter of fact, I could consider myself an indie everything, and as someone who has been a part of the indie hustle for most of his life, I can empathize with indie game devs. I can relate to their struggles. I even go against my better judgment sometimes and give some indie games passes some may believe they don't even deserve. But to create anything of value independently can be an uphill battle. I speak from experience. So today, I salute my fellow indie hustlers and encourage every single one of you, even the ones I didn't exactly give the 5-star treatment, all the success. And if in my limited capacity I was able to add some encouragement or inspiration to even one of you, I consider that a job well done. I have a level of respect for every single indie game I reviewed last year. But this here is my top 10 indie games I reviewed for 2020 in no particular order. Some were released before 2020, but you'll get it. Here we go. Cloudpunk by Ion Lands and Merge Games is a title that revolves around a delivery lady named Rania, a new member of the shady delivery service called Cloudpunk. It was interesting how devs Ion Lands were able to create a game that has no combat, no puzzles to solve, no bosses to defeat, but still able to come together nicely through its storytelling and atmosphere. I wasn't all aboard with the visuals. The walking sections were a bit jarring, especially how the lighting was treated. If you notice, the characters have no shadows, but Cloudpunk was still able to deliver one compelling experience all the way to the end.
Well, I don't know if anybody has said this to you before, but I'll say it now. Thank you.
Until You Fall by Shell Games is a roguelite VR title with some of the tightest controls I've ever felt in a VR game. I reviewed quite a few roguelites, and I'll have to admit, I'm not the biggest fan of the genre, but Until You Fall was so well done. And at a time when I decided to flex my VR legs, as I've had PSVR for a while but never quite pushed full speed ahead till last year, Until You Fall has some decent visuals, great gameplay elements, and a soundtrack designed to keep you pumped and invested.
Masterfully done.
Dev's Fun Selector Lab certainly knocked it out of the park with Art of Rally. The second I saw this game, I knew I'd love it. The visuals, the music, the car selection. This is one top-down style racer that certainly got it right. And with its recent free heritage update, it's clear to see the devs believe in this title and have no intentions of abandoning it anytime soon. The heritage update offers 8 new cars, a livery mode, and a ghost mode. This is a must-play for any fan of the racing genre. Grey Hat by Dev Limited Games and publisher Neon Bedlam had to be on here. If memory serves me correctly, this is the first game of its kind I've ever played. At a glance, this may look like some really boring stuff, but far from. Grey Hat puts you in the role of a super hacker who unfortunately pissed off the wrong guy and ends up paying for it dearly. I have so much respect for an indie dev who's able to put together a minimalist style title like this, but still manages to captivate with its immersive and engaging gameplay. If you're into text-based adventure games with really deep and provocative stories, then give Grey Hat a shot. Developer Atmos Games and publisher Serenity Forge treated me with this amazing indie title. Neversong is an indie adventure puzzle platformer with one smooth pace. The visuals, the gameplay, the quirky story with its dark undertone made me smile from ear to ear like the Joker when I woke up to its review key in my inbox. The Lab Video Game TV being such a small channel, the psychic income I receive from these opportunities really do help keep me going sometimes. If you've never played Neversong, if you saw it or heard about it and are on the fence, hop on over, it's worth a ride.
Dearest diary, my sunshine, my dancing princess of feminine mystery is still missing. Ren, where art thou?
Into a Dream by developer Philip F. Thomas and publisher Neon Bedlam was also another unique experience. Mind you, most indie games I've played are, but Into a Dream is one of those indie gems I never saw coming. Never played anything like this one before, but I'm glad I did. This is another no-combat story-driven experience that touches on some very sensitive subjects. You enter the mind of a man battling depression, and it's your job to go deep into his subconscious to help a group of experts to see what can be done. The dev took a very creative approach tackling the subject matter in this heartfelt indie gem.
Goodbye, John. And thank you again for dropping by.
African devs Cairo Games released this one way back in 2016. I heard about it, saw a few videos, and by the visuals and the story surrounding its development process, I knew I had to review this. And although I was real late to the party, it was an honor and a privilege to give my 2 cents on Orion, a legacy of the Koryo Dan. With a gripping story, amazing lore, beautiful 2.5D visuals, and a deep emphasis on African culture, Orion could easily hold the #1 spot here, were this list in order of preference. I could spend hours talking about this title, but I have a better idea. If you're a PC gamer, go check it out for yourself. We're all familiar with the expression, a love letter. This game is a love letter to this, that game is a love letter to that. Well, Shaolin vs. Wu Tang by developer Jai Lee must have been a love letter to the Lab video game TV. Because I've been waiting for a game like this for decades. Shaolin vs. Wu Tang puts you in the guise of martial arts action stars from the 70s to the 90s. You're able to see what a match between Bruce Lee and Van Damme would look like. Homage was paid here and paid in full. Check out my review on this one. If you're a martial arts movie fan, a martial artist, or a fighting game fan, or even all three, Shaolin vs. Wu Tang's got you covered. Now, while I haven't played Streets of Rage 4 yet, developer Pelican 13 certainly kept me busy last summer with a takeover. It's another beat-em-up paying homage to the days of old when beat-em-ups were up there in the top 3 genres of the time. With interesting love-it-or-hate-it visuals, a decent story for what it is, and good gameplay to boot, the takeover is in my opinion an overlooked, underrated gem that deserves more love. Check out my review and see if it fits.
Does anyone want to talk about how insane that was?
Released by a platonic partnership and Nakana.io, January 2020, Lydia is a title created for charity to raise awareness to a very sensitive and serious subject. It sets you off on a short yet thought-provoking journey as a neglected child. This is another one of those games which will hit home and resonate with many, as enough of us had screwed-up childhoods and can relate and empathize with our young protagonist's struggle. Again, Lydia was created in aid of a worthy cause, and over all the other games on this list, I definitely implore everyone, gamers or not, to support this effort by grabbing themselves a copy in the eShop. It also has dirt cheap DLC that should definitely be supported as well. If you're still here, then thanks for sticking it out. Here are a few worthy of mention. Morbid, The Seven Acolytes. Cloud Gardens. Max and the Book of Chaos. Indie Calypse. Timeout.
All right, I have only 5 hours. That is all I can pay you.
2020 wasn't a great year for a lot of very important things, and at the risk of sounding like a fortune cookie, I'm going to have to say, well, life is what you make it. And amidst all the turmoil, indie games certainly added some smiles and good days. My respects to all indie devs. Keep pushing, keep developing, and keep gaming. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. As we all know though, we live in days where sensibilities are at an all-time high and cancel culture is in full effect. So if somehow I found a way to piss you off with this video, then feel free to pound those unsub and dislike buttons like a $2 hooker and keep it moving. It's all good. I won't hold it against you. Our game is never over.